What's up, YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be talking about the word Latinx and why nobody should be using it. They actually recently did a study and they found that like only 3% of people actually use this word. That made me smile a bit, but at the same time, not really, because that number should be 0%. And hopefully this video helps get that number down to 0%. I know this isn't the most professional setup, but all I care about is getting my point across. Disclaimer, I am not an expert in the English nor in the Spanish language. I have just been speaking both languages my entire life. I don't have a degree in either of the subjects. However, I do not need those things to speak about the points that I will be making in this video. As you guys will see, you don't need to know anything about Spanish to understand what I am talking about in this video. If you know anyone that uses this word, send them this video, trust me. Alright, so for starters, I'm going to be talking about the Spanish language. Alright, so in Spanish, yes, you have masculine and feminine words. However, you also have gender neutral words. And for the most part, they're the masculine or feminine words. Like, masculine and feminine words can have multiple meanings. Just because a word is masculine does not mean that that word can only be used for men. And just because a word is feminine does not mean that that word can only be used to describe women. For example, right, I got a few examples here for you. You got los niños. Los is masculine, niños is also masculine. However, it is used to describe both boys and girls. Alright, so it doesn't matter that they're masculine, it can also be used to describe girls. Then you got a feminine example right here, las personas. Las personas, las is feminine, personas is also feminine. It doesn't matter, men and females both use las personas. I'm a dude and I can say yo soy una persona. Right, and I'm a dude, and that's how I have to say it. Why? Because that's just how the language is, okay? So now this takes me to the main topic of this video, which is the word Latino. Los Latinos. Los is masculine. Latinos is masculine. Doesn't matter. Both men and females can use the word Latino. Los Latinos, that refers to both men and women. If you hear Latino stand up, it's not just going to be dudes standing up. It's going to be dudes and women. Because that's just how the language is built. It doesn't matter that they're masculine. Because they're not just masculine, they're also gender neutral. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It's pretty simple. Alright, so I just explained how in the Spanish language, even though a word is masculine or feminine, that does not mean that that word can't also be gender neutral. So now this brings me to the other language now, which is English. And this is where it gets comical in my opinion, because it's in this language where we're really having this conversation about using the word Latinx. And that's funny because in English, as you guys will see, or as you guys know, everything is already gender neutral for the most part. It's a very gender neutral language. Like, it's not built like Spanish at all. We don't have masculine and feminine words in the English language. Well, you have a few, right? And I wrote them down right here. You got like king and queen, for example. You got lion and lioness, actor and actress, but these words aren't even really that popular, right? Like, unless you're watching Game of Thrones or going to Disneyland, you're not really going to be talking about king and queen. Unless you're specifically talking about lions, you're not going to be saying lioness. And if you're like me, I'm probably more likely to just say female lion, to be honest with you, right? And you have actor and actress. I mean, actresses call themselves actors all the time. It's not really a strict rule with it. Actually, now that I think about it, actor and actress is a perfect example. If you're struggling to understand how Latinos, right, how it's both masculine and feminine, think of actor and actress. Even though the word actors, is seen as feminine or is used for females and the word actor is used for men, if you understand English, you know that the word actor, even though it's used to describe male actors, it's also gender neutral and women can also use the word actor. It's literally the same thing in Spanish. Okay? It's not a perfect example, but it's basically the same thing, right? So if you understand the English language and you get a questionnaire and it says, are you an actor? You're not going to be confused. You're not going to be like, where's actress at? No, because you understand that the word actor can refer to both men and women. Well, it's the same thing with the word Latino. Now, if you were to, teach somebody that doesn't know how to speak English and you were to just tell them that actor is for dudes and actress is for females, then yeah, that might lead to confusion. And that's probably what happened with Latino, right? It's probably a bunch of people that didn't really understand the Spanish language. So yeah, you tell somebody that doesn't speak English that actress is for female and actor is for dudes, then yeah, they might be like, well, actor, that's only for dudes. We need a word for both. Next thing you know, they're crossing out the R and adding an X at the end of the word actor, which is basically what you guys are doing with Latino, and it doesn't make any sense. All right, so now back to what I was saying about English and how everything for the most part is gender neutral. I even have a list here of other ethnicities slash races, whatever you want to call these things. And if you notice, all of these words, right, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, they're all gender neutral by default. Why? Because it's English, and that's how English works. Like, we don't have masculine, feminine words, right? If someone says they're white, you don't know. That could be a man, that could be a woman. You don't know. So someone explained to me how, if in the English language everything is already gender neutral, and I just explained to you guys how in Spanish the word Latino is also gender neutral. So where is this coming from that the word Latino is not gender neutral? It's not coming from Spanish. I just explained how even in Spanish the word Latino is gender neutral. It's definitely not coming from English because I just explained how everything in English for the most part is gender neutral. So who is saying, where is it coming from that the word Latino isn't gender neutral? I'll tell you where it's coming from. It's coming straight from someone's ass. There's no rule in the English language that says because a word ends in a O that it's masculine. That's not even completely true in Spanish. So it's definitely not true in English. So again, where's all this coming from? Straight from someone's ass. Even if it were true that Latino is only used for men in the Spanish language, I already explained how that's not true, but even if that were true, why would we bring in that rule from the Spanish language and implement it into the English language? That would make no sense. Latino is now an English word, right? Like forget about the Spanish translations of these words. Latino is now an English word. I guess I should say it more properly. Latino is now an English word. So it would make no sense to bring in rules from Spanish and put them in the English language. And if we did bring the Spanish rules, again, Latino would actually be the right term. Because in Spanish, Spanish speakers, they don't get confused when they see Latino. They understand that that's a gender neutral term. The same way you wouldn't get confused if you saw the word actor. You wouldn't be like, where's actors? No, you understand that the word actor is a gender neutral term. Spanish speakers understand that the word Latino is a gender neutral term. The only people getting confused are people that don't understand the languages. Alright, so I just explained how in Spanish and English, the word Latino is gender neutral. But let's pretend like I'm wrong. Let's pretend like the word Latino, that O at the end of Latino is just too damn masculine and we have to get rid of it. Okay, if we just had to get rid of the word Latino, why would we choose Latinx? Where did that come from? Right, I put two way better options right here. All right, first let's talk about Latin. Why not just Latin? We already call that region of the world Latin America. So why not just Latin? The biggest complaint against this one will probably be that the word Latin is probably too, like, when people hear the word Latin, they probably think about the language more so than Latin America. So, okay, I can see that. But what about just saying Latin American then? Or again, we already called that region of the planet Latin America. So why not just call the people Latin American? Again, Latino makes perfect sense. But if we had to change it, okay, Latin American. The biggest complaint against this one would probably be that the word is too long. But we use Pacific Islander, don't we? And that's longer than Latin American. So we can use Pacific Islander. I don't see why we can't use Latin American. So there you go. What's the problem with these words? Why would we use this word? Where did this word even come from? I'll tell you where it came from. From someone's ass. You guys are probably wondering why I have the word irony written right here, and that is from the irony that these people try to create a gender neutral identity in the language that already has 100% gender neutral identities, right? Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, even Latino are all gender neutral words, right? There's nothing in the definition of these words that implies gender. This word, on the other hand, it literally has in the definition of the word that it's gender neutral. So who do you guys think is going to gravitate towards this word? The gender neutral people, the non-binaries, that's who. So congratulations, you guys have created the only actual gendered identity in the English language. If that's not ironic, I don't know what is. Good job.